Next we have Shelby from the Farm Service Agency. Okay. And so part of why we're also sharing information about the drought monitor is that portions of the USDA and their programming and resources go into effect depending what category has the map and classification is showing. So Farm Service Agency will learn from Shelby about like when drought to D2, so severe drought, when that gets kicked in for certain periods of time, which programs then become available. And it's the idea is to help with drought assistance and provide relief during those times of drought. You'll be advancing the slides then?
Yeah, I'm back here.
Okay.
If that's okay. All right, you bring one.
Yeah, okay. I won't be able to answer any questions.
All right. So like she said, I'm Shelby Johnson. I'm with the Farm Service Agency out of Palmer. And I'll talk to you about the drought designation efforts. Okay, so disaster designations are due to natural disasters. If an unusual adverse weather condition or natural phenomena that have substantially affected farmers and ranchers, causing severe physical losses, production losses, or both. There's 4 different types of disaster designations: secretarial, presidential, APLNs, quarantine. All disaster designations provide emergency loan benefits, and this is according to 7 CFR Part 759. Okay, so there's 2 different ways that we do secretarial designations. There's fast track and then there's regular disaster designation. For the fast track, it's streamlined, it's based on the drought monitor, and it's to provide an automatic, almost automatic designation. Go to the next one. So counties that are in D2 for 8 consecutive weeks, that is a drought trigger that we look at, and we also look at going into D3 and D4 at any time. It must be during the grazing period, and again, this goes off of the drought monitor. So for secretarial designations, not the fast track way, almost anyone can initiate the request for a disaster designation. You can go to the next slide. This is kind of what we have to do as an office. We have to fill out a form. We make sure that the request is timely, that it's within 3 months of the disaster happening. So this is why it's really important to talk to us early, because not only do we have to make sure that it was within 3 months, this has to go through us, and then it has to go through our state to get to the national office. So it is important that you talk to us timely. We provide memos to the state office. We can complete some loss assessment reports, and then we report stuff into our system, into Storm. And then we look at this either a 30% loss or a credit survey to be recommended for the secretarial discussion. Go to the next one. Like I said, state office sends it to the national office no later than 3 months from the date of the disaster. They can request a deferral, and then they can be for any type of disaster, including drought. You can go to the next one. Okay, so we look at either a 30% loss of production or prevented financing for destroyed acres, and then we also take a look at a survey. Secretarial designation that allows the secretary to designate even when a 30% production loss has not been met for the entire county. For fast track, for secretarial drought fast track designations, these are signed and dated letters to the governor. It will tell the primary and then the contiguous counties that are affected. And then our SED also gets that, and this shows us what counties are eligible for programs. All right, for presidential designations, we can go to the next one. The local government responds, the state responds, and then we can go to the next one. The governor requests it, FEMA evaluates and then reports to the White House, and then the president will approve that. Presidential declarations, those offer individual and public assistance. This is only categories C through G, and the next slide shows these are the categories of work that the presidential designation open up. Okay, so APLN, administrative physical loss. These are for physical losses only. This is again our system. These don't require state emergency board meetings and minutes. And it must again be sent to the national office within 3 months of the disaster. So when we're looking at this, we have to specify what the disaster was, when it was, specific counties, and then we need to look at the physical losses. The national office will then send us a map of the list of affected counties and then assign notice. Okay, quarantines. These can be initiated by almost anyone. We need to provide a dated and signed memo from our state executive director. We have to look at the basis for approval and then again the 3 months. Okay, so with all of this, this is kind of what we have to do from a government standpoint. So what do we need from you? Communication record keeping, looking for credit elsewhere, and applying for the applicable loans and programs. You can go to the next one. So communication, just like you saw in all of ours, that 3 months is a really big turning point. If it's anything past that, we can't do a whole lot. So communicating with our office is really important. If you are out in the field and you see something, please give us a call or just send me an email or something to make communication just so that we're aware of it. You can go to the next one. So not only is record keeping good for this and we need it, but it's good for you to be able to see too and to look at that, the 30% loss, look at it at your financials, at your weather related data, look at your crops and your crop losses. It's really important for you and for us to have that. Go to the next one. Okay, so the programs that are made available, the biggest one is emergency loans. Emergency loans become available with any of these designations. The LFP is the livestock forage program, and that is only available on a fast track designation. And then ELAP for feed hauling, it's only available on a fast track designation or where USDA looks and has determined that there's a shortage of local or regional feed availability. So for emergency loans, you must be unable to obtain financing elsewhere. We are different than a traditional bank, and so we do ask you to look for financing elsewhere and be unable to obtain that. The need for this emergency loan must be contributed to the disaster. There can't be some other reasons why the loan is needed. And then we do have other loan eligibility criteria that you have to meet. You can go to the next one. So LFP and ELAP, just like we talked about, those go off of the fast track designation. And then feed and water hauling must be in excess of normal practices to be eligible for ELAP. If it's a part of your normal operation, then it's not eligible for ELAP. You can use on the drought monitor, they have the FSA eligibility tool. It's really helpful and it will show you when LFP and ELAP trigger off of the fast track determinations. Okay, Robert Garcia, he is in our Northern County office in Delta. And there's his contact info and then here's mine. And like I said, the biggest thing is to communicate with us. So please take our info, let us know, give us a call. Do we have any questions?
Has there been any, I mean, there's several like ag adjacent like organizations across the state where that were requesting the governor make a declaration this year for that. Is there any movement? Are you aware of any?
I'm not, especially because we are federal.
Yeah.
So,
but wouldn't the governor making a making a designation or I guess initiating something when that triggers something with FSA?
the governor does not. If
Okay.
it goes through the other channels and we get a secretary or a presidential designation, then we would start to have some of our programs.
Okay.
Well, the governor could write to the secretary.
That's what. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to
Secretarial.
say.
Yeah.
And then that would affect the programs.
Okay. So no.
I had a question which you may not know the answer, but in the like one of the first slides, like Title VII is where this all comes from. What determines Title VII? Is that the Farm Bill? Is that a certain legislation? What do you know? What determines that statute?
I believe that it is from the Farm Bill. I know that Erin's online. She may know.
Erin, if you're online and you know the answer, or if you don't know the answer, you can unmute and just know.
Yep. So I want to make sure I heard the question. Wondering where the 7 CFR is. That is a federal legislation. So that is something that is published higher up that comes through our Farm Bill. Yes.
And is it just through the Farm Bill?
Yes, I believe so. I would have to verify, but yes, I believe it is for the Farm Bill. So it would change on per Farm Bill for the different programs.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Shelby.
Thank you, Shelby.